Good morning, everyone. Angela here. Hope you're having an amazing day. So working through the thread of the questions. Today we want to talk about mindset shift. And these are answers to Tony, Teresa, and Terry's questions about shifting your thinking to success instead of worry and stress. Well, the one thing that I know for sure is that in releasing stress, meditation is what works. So just so you know. All right, how to change your mindset. Well, the first thing is to be hyper conscious of the words that you use to describe yourself, your experience, anything that's happening in your life. Like those words that you use, they hold power. Words hold power. This is one of the first things that I teach about in the 7 Powers of the Soul is your responsibility to be hyper conscious about the words that you're using. Because mindset, the way that you worry about things, how you react and respond to stress, has everything to do with how you self-talk. It really does. So, do you really believe the things that you tell yourself? Like if you're worrying about something, do you really believe what you're worrying about? What is it that you're worrying about? Right? Is it helping you or is it harming you? We're really good at self-sabotage in this area. So pay attention to what you're telling yourself. What is it you want to think about? That's the second thing is what is it that you really want to think about? Do you want to think about how much you're worrying or how much you're stressed or what somebody said to you or what you said to someone? If that's not what you want to think, then stop. Tell your mind to stop. We reprogram the mind by telling it what to do. We're not a victim to our mind. We're not a victim to the loops that the mind gets into, those thinking patterns, the worry, the stress, the anxiety. We're not a victim to that, but we are allowing it to control us. So when you are in one of those experiences where you're worrying or when you're, when you're depressed, having anxiety, tell the mind to stop. Then what is it? Then focus on what you want to think. Right? Like ask yourself a series of questions. Like, is this real? Do I really believe that I'm lazy? Like that's one thing that my dad used to tell me, that I was lazy. Do I really believe that I'm lazy? I've achieved more in my life than 90% of humans, of other humans. I'm not lazy. So that was a perception that literally I took on for a long time. That was not true. Nothing about that was true. In fact, I tried to make it so untrue that I probably overcompensated the other way. So ask yourself, is this really real? Do I really believe in what the mind is telling you? What you've been programmed to believe? If it is, then what action do you need to take to make it what you want? Right? For a long time, I believed that I was lazy. So what action steps did I take? I got a master's degree. I worked 2 jobs. I worked a full-time job, a part-time job, and finished my master's and had 3 kids at home. Nothing like overcompensating. So the action steps that I took literally proved to me, I had to prove to myself that I wasn't lazy, and probably to the rest of the world, but it really didn't matter about the world. What mattered was me. So I proved it wrong. Literally, I had this belief that I had to prove things wrong, none of which were true. If your answer to is it real, no, then demand it to stop. Like distract yourself, create a new mantra, create something that repeats, that you can create a new pattern with that's actually true. And apply, apply, apply. I can't tell you enough about the action steps. You have to apply them in order to make the changes. That's how you release from patterns, from loops, from karmic ties. You have to apply the action step. It's the action step that creates a new way of being. Everybody with me? Everybody's with me. See, nobody's saying no. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. The third thing, surround yourself with people, places, and things that actually support the mindset that you're looking to create. Right? It's just like my dad was an alcoholic. When he would dry out, he couldn't go back to the same places. He couldn't go back to those same people. It's not how it works. He had to find a new place to go. He couldn't go back to the bar, sit in the bar with all the rest of the people who were, still in their alcoholic pattern. You can't go back to the same mindset. So you have to find people, places, and things that actually support your mindset, the one that you're trying to create. Instead of listening to the news, like lots of people are stuck in this listening to the news kind of thing. Stop doing that. It does not help your mindset. It actually pulls you back into some craziness. It pulls you back into the trauma of humanity. Listen to podcasts instead, right? Like ones that help you see life differently. Change your friends. It's okay to change your friends. Move away from the BMW club. Do you know what the BMW club is? Bitch, moan, and wine club? Move away from that into more expansive conversations. I'm not telling you that you have to totally be away from those people. But when you're around them, maybe you just don't engage in the bitching, moaning, and whining. Maybe you actually start a conversation that takes them into expansion, not only yourself, but them. Right? Instead of going to the bar for socializing, join a yoga group or go for a walk in nature, or create a walking group where you can actually meditate as you walk. Like the list is endless of things to do, but you have to do things that support who you're trying to become. Right. Fourth thing for is this real? Changing your mindset is try new things that again support what you want. Support what you want. The fifth thing is to relieve your stress, because stress is one of those things that keep the program running. Meditation, it's the antidote to stress. I can't express that enough. Of course, I'm a meditation specialist from the Deepak Chopra Center, and I understand how meditation works. It relieves your stress. The only thing that meditation should do, your only focused outcome for meditation is to relieve stress. Experiencing higher states of consciousness while you're meditating is just the benefit. The whole purpose of meditation should just only be to release stress. However, it allows you to explore and expand different mindsets, different ways of thinking. So in order to shift your thinking for more success, you have to say to yourself that you're successful. And you have to recognize places in your life where your strengths create success. If you want to be abundant, you have to have a mindset of abundance. I mean, that's the first task. That's the first task. And how do you change your mindset? Pay attention to the self-talk. What is it that you really want to think about? Change that. Surround yourself with the people, places, and things that support you. Try new things and relieve the stress. Those are the 5 things that are very useful in changing your mindset. So, do you have questions? If you do, ask them in the thread. Mindset is very easy to change, but there is a level of persistence, persistent dedication to yourself in order to make that happen. I'm not going to say that mindsets change overnight, although some of them do, with deeper understanding about who you are, why you are, and how you are. But for the majority of humanity, the programs that are in ourselves, in our DNA, are so ingrained that it takes a persistent dedication to yourself in order to make that happen. You have to put yourself first. I mean, that's the bottom line. In order to be magnificent, you have to think, feel, know, and be magnificent. It's not hard. It's not really that hard. But you have to be in conscious awareness about how you're treating yourself, how you're talking to yourself, what the things you are thinking and feeling, the belief systems that are holding you back, and then actually doing it, being magnificent, right? Like, that's the whole point. How do you relieve your stress and your worry? You stop being stressed and worried. I mean, how did I overcome depression? I stopped being depressed. Literally. I changed the way that I thought about myself. I changed those belief systems because they didn't support who I knew I could be and wanted to be. I changed my emotions. I dug in and understood what emotions were mine and what weren't mine, because I'm an empath, so I take on people's emotions, or I used to. I no longer do that because I set very appropriate boundaries for who I want to become. Those old programs, they're not your boundaries. Those old belief systems, they are not your boundaries. They are your blocks. They are your blocks. So let me know if this helps. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Any questions? Otherwise, until next week, we love you dearly. And change your mind.